to talk about double number lines, okay? What do you think of when you think of a number line? What do you think of? Okay, like almost like little tally marks, okay? What else, Lauren?
Like a date line.
Like a date line, okay? So really, we think of things that are in numerical order, right? So when we've done ratio tables before, we could jump around. It didn't have to be in numerical order. But with double number lines, we're still showing that relationship between ratios, but this time it's going to be in numerical order. Now, let's look at the first problem together, okay? And they've drawn your number line for you. It says a box of candy had 10 cherry pieces for every 8 lemon pieces. I want you to go and underline the 10 cherry and 8 lemon, because it is extremely important that you make sure you label those in the right place. So if we look at our number line, we've got lemon to cherry. Here's another thing that's different from ratio tables is where we start. Every double number line will start at 0 and 0. And that's because if you have 0 lemon pieces, how many cherry pieces do you have? 0. That's where your ratio will always start at 0, 0. Okay, so the first line is labeled lemon. So how many lemon pieces do we have? 8. And how many cherry? 10. So our original ratio is 8 to 10. We're going to do this 2 different ways. What happens if I add another 8 lemon pieces? How many will I have?
16.
And how many cherry?
20.
Okay. I love how you guys didn't try to add 8 to both. You understand, every time we add 8, we're adding 10. Because that ratio of 8 to 10 will stay the same the entire distance. Now what it's asking us, if the box had 40 lemon pieces, so that means our top line, we've got to get to 40. So what comes after 16 for the lemon?
4.
Okay. And how many cherry?
3.
And then the next one would be 32 to 40. And finally 40 to 50. So what this means, for every 40 lemon pieces, you have 50 cherry.
40 to 50.
40 to 50 is your final ratio. And the question says, how many cherry pieces would there be? And you would have 50 cherry pieces. Okay? Do you remember the big long word we use when we talk about we add every time? What kind of reasoning that was called? You're thinking of the other. Additive reasoning.
Yes,
Okay?
I'm thinking of adding reasoning.
Yes. So this is using additive reasoning. We're adding every time. And in a minute, we're going to talk about multiplicative reasoning, which is what you were thinking of. Okay, and we'll do that in a second. Okay, let's look at the second one. Where does our double number line always start?
0.
0, 0. Okay? So we have 8 pop songs and 7 country songs. So 8 pop songs to 7 country songs. And it says if she has 16 pop songs, yes, this one will be short. How many country songs would she have?
14.
14. And that's it. This is extremely similar to a ratio table, except we're going in numerical order, and we're not jumping around.
So like 14 to 16? Or,
What do you mean?
like, you know how the denominator is supposed to be higher than the...
Doesn't have to be. Remember, this is not just a fraction. This is a ratio. So what it's saying is for every 16 pop songs she has, there are 14 country songs. Okay? All right, let's look at the next one. So yeah, it doesn't matter if your denominator is higher than your numerator. Okay? A recipe calls for 5 teaspoons of seasoning for every 7 batches of chicken. Where do I start?
0.
0, 0. Okay? How many batches of chicken?
5.
Let's look at this. 5 teaspoons, 7 batches. So 7 batches of chicken, 5 teaspoons of seasoning. If I have 14 batches of chicken, 10 teaspoons. Very good. Now, the next one, let's talk about our multiplicative reasoning. That means we're thinking using multiplication and not addition this time. So again, we start at 0, 0. A movie theater puts 4 cups of oil. So where's my oil over here? It's on the bottom. So that's where my 4 is going to go. For every 9 batches of popcorn. So 9 goes at the top with popcorn. It says after they had made 45 batches of popcorn, can I jump straight from 9 to 45? How do I make that jump? Times 5. So I want you to show me if you multiply what you did to get there. So that 9 times 5 would get me to 45. If I do this, yep, so 4 times 5. If I do the same thing up here, I have to do the same to the bottom. So how many cups of oil would that be? 20. Very good. So again, let me back out just a little bit. Okay, these we used additive reasoning, and this is using multiplicative reasoning. You can jump from one ratio to the next. They're still in numerical order without having to go in and add every single time. Okay?
First number, money would go first.
Are you looking at number 5?
Yes.
Let's look at it and talk about it. Look where it's labeled. Sheetrock and price. Make sure the number follows where the label is. So if we've got 0, 0, how many pieces of sheetrock?
3.
Okay, so that's my first number up here, and it cost $4. I can skip. How am I going to do that? Okay. Do you also notice how I left a gap here? Because if I'm talking about a number line, 0 and 3 are closer than 3 and 30. So I want to show that visual distance between the two. Okay, so if I multiply by 10 up top, I do the same at the bottom. 30 pieces would cost $40. And that is a double number line. Any questions so far? Good?